And I figured I would talk about, should you retire early, or should you just, kind of lay off the hours at work your just normal 40 and retire at 65. So um, I had actually been asked that quite a bit. Somebody asked me as soon as they found out, oh, you're working 55 to 60 hours a week. Like, why don't you just find a trucking job that you can just work 40 hours a week? And I've had those jobs before. There's nothing wrong with them. They're decent jobs. That's how food service was for the most part. You worked a little bit of overtime, but same thing with flatbedding. That was pretty nice. But there's other trucking jobs out there that you can do where you can just go in, work your normal 40 hours a week, and then, kind of just retire that way as you would. And that's kind of how the math works out for most people. At least that's how it works out for me, where I could go find one of those jobs. I could go, just work 40 hours a week and not work 50 to 55 to 60 hours a week. But ultimately, I would personally, and not saying there's any wrong answers here, but I just figured I would ask you guys and see what you think, what your plans are, because that's how it kind of works out math wise. Like, if you put in, at least if you have the opportunity to. Hey, what's up, man? How's it going, Steve? I'm good, doing good. Just killing some extra time here, so I figured do a little quick live. But yeah. So, but how are you doing, by the way? But getting back to it, yeah. So it's, for me personally, I would rather just work the extra, 15 to 20 hours a week, and then be able to retire anywhere between 50 and 55. If you have that option. That if you don't have that option, if you're in a job where you can't work overtime, then you might have to, either get a job that allows you to work overtime and go to a different job or different career field, or just get a side gig, do a side business. I actually had a side business when I was living in South Dakota. I was doing construction work, and that was another gig where it was usually like 45 hours a week. And so, decent job, but it wasn't really paying enough of the bills and for me to kind of get ahead. So I actually ran a car detailing business in South Dakota, and it was good. It was profitable. That was a great learning experience in like managing your own business and managing all your how's it going, Alex? It was, managing all your expenses, keeping track of that in an Excel spreadsheet. Quickly found out that I don't want to run my own business. Like, it was successful in the fact that I made a profit, and I didn't have any major issues as far as like filing taxes or anything like that. But I quickly found out, and that's kind of also what kind of turned me away later on from going the owner operator route, is just because all the headaches of the business side of things, personally, I don't want to deal with. Doesn't mean that you guys can't. If you want to go do the owner operator thing, or do a side business thing as a trucker, more power to you. But the car detailing in itself was way too much work. That was some of the hardest. Like, at least if you want to do a good job and make sure people's cars are actually clean, that's some of the most physical. That was right up there with food delivery, honestly. So, what's up, Anthony? How's it going? Hey, appreciate it, Steve. Let's see here. Let's answer question. Good, going through CDL training. Hopefully one day I can get on with Gemini. Yeah. Just obviously, once you land a job, after you get out of CDL school, stay there for at least a year, get at least a year of experience, and then try to move into fuel of some sort. Obviously, Gemini I would recommend, but Pilot, Pilot, generally, I've had several people tell me that they got on with Pilot to get into fuel hauling with only a year and a half of experience. Generally, they look for 2 for liability reasons as far as the insurance. So you may have to do like 2 years, because I didn't get into fuel hauling until I had about a year and a half, year and 3/4 of driving experience. So it may take a while, but I'm not going to say I'm not going to say it's for everybody, but it's a great gig. It's pretty easy going. It's one of the easier jobs that I've ever had, so long as you're paying attention. So, yeah, I enjoy it. I enjoy it. So, but yeah, honestly, just keep your record clean, don't get into any accidents. And if you do, not the end of the world, so long as it's not anything major, don't get, any DUIs or anything like that crazy. Just keep your record clean, get your experience, and then at some point you can get into fuel hauling. It may not be a Gemini, depending upon, where you're at, how desperate they are. You may have to start out elsewhere, like I did at Pilot, but not a big deal. Not a big deal. Let's see if I have any other questions here. Nope. Okay. So yeah. But kind of getting back into it as far as the topic here, it's been a good journey as far as figuring out, okay, well, do I actually want to work as much as I do? And I genuinely don't. I genuinely don't want to work as much as I do. I don't want to work 50 to 55 to 60. Well, actually, I'm not going to lie. It's been more like closer to 60 hours a week. And certainly when I was at Pilot, it was like 60 plus hours a week, 63, 64. I don't like working that much, but at the end of the day, I have discovered that I would rather put in the hours now, especially as I'm younger, because I'm only 30, than have to extend that time out in work and work till I'm 65. Because if I stay at a job where I'm only working 40 to 45 hours a week, regardless of what it is, because realistically, you're not going to bring home 40 hours a week. You're not going to bring home anything more than $1,500 a week, realistically. You're just not. So, I mean, at least not in trucking, unless you're doing the owner operator thing, but that's not 40 hours a week. So there's no way to really get around that. Generally that means you'd have to, even if you limit your expenses, you get on a budget, you limit your expenses, and you invest everything else that you have, you're not going to be able to retire, unless you're a single guy. If you have like 500-600 grand saved up and you're just a single guy, you can retire if you're a minimalist at that point. But honestly, that's not my scenario. I'm going to need at least like 1 million, 1.2 million to like fully get out of the workforce. Because I'll need, like, if I cut my expenses down to bare bones, I could get away, once my mortgage is paid off, I could get away with like 30 or 40 grand right now. Obviously that's going to go up as inflation rises. But I'll need to, stack that money up to get to that point to where I can retire. And I could retire even a little bit before then, before I actually have $1 million. But again, it's just, I'm going to have to put in the hours to get there anytime soon. So it is what it is. But let's address these questions here. Steve said, thanks. And car detailing is no joke. Can be physical, especially doing it the right way. I picked up on because I worked for a detailing business. I told them to try for a week. Yeah. Detailing is no joke. No joke. Good. I mean, I made good money at it. I was able to charge with almost zero experience. I was able to charge, $50 an hour, but even at 50, $60 an hour, is it worth dealing with? At least to me, it wasn't worth dealing with the all the nastiness in the cars too. It was just some of the, like, somebody had spilled like cat litter, used cat litter in their car and just left it for months, and then they wanted me to clean it. I was like, all right, that's an extra $100 right there for a hazmat hazmat fee. It's just gross, but yeah. So anyways, getting back to it, get a white collar job. You like Warren Buffett, top of the game in his 90s. Yeah. I mean, honestly, that's probably what I should have done, especially if I didn't want to work as much. I should have gone what my brother-in-law did. As I mentioned before, my brother-in-law, he applied himself in school and he became a chemical engineer. He has a dream schedule. He works 4 10s. So he has a 3-day weekend every week. And he's not worried about how much he's getting paid, because he's getting paid a good amount because he put the work up front in suffering through 4 or 5 years of really hard, challenging schoolwork, to be able to get a decent wage right off the bat. And he's a chemical engineer. So I should have done that. Should have gone like mechanical engineering or electrical engineering, something like that. And then, but it is what it is, Let's see here. Is the schedule at Pilot you work one weekend? Is the schedule at Pilot you work one weekend day? Pretty much. I'm not going to say that because when I was at Pilot, starting out, I worked both weekend days. I was, I want to say I was Friday through Tuesday. Yeah, I think I basically had this same, I had Thursday, Friday off. Yeah, so it was actually Saturday through Wednesday. But yeah, most of the time you're going to work at least one weekend day at pretty much every fuel hauling place. I have seen, I did see like the DEF positions that somebody was mentioning in Augusta. Like pretty much all of the DEF positions, I think, could be wrong here, but I think a lot of the DEF positions are during the week, like Monday through Friday, because a lot of the loading facilities they go to have appointment times that are only open during the week. Like all the facilities that they work at, those operators have to be there to load you, from what I understand. I haven't done DEF before, so take it with a grain of salt, but most of the DEF positions are during the week. I don't think, or they may only work one weekend day. But yeah, you're going to, as a fuel hauler, especially starting out, you're going to work at least one weekend day, if not both, like I did. So what's the difference between working at Love's or Pilot versus contractor type companies? Good question. They're like the working experience is basically the same. It's between Love's, Pilot, like all the major companies, actually fuel hauling in general, it's pretty much going to be the same. The only difference is in if they offer raises or not, or if they offer bonuses or not. The benefits between Pilot and Love's were fairly similar as far as like the medical, dental, vision. Love's does offer more vacation time. They offer sick time, sick leave, and personal days on top of vacation days. Pilot does not. They only have vacation days. And then Pilot, at least when I was there, they didn't offer an HSA that they contributed to, so it wasn't free money like it is here at Love's, because here I'm given $1,500 every single year into my HSA. So that's $1,500 towards medical expenses that I don't even have to pay for. But other than that, yeah, like the working experience, the day to day, they're not going to micromanage you. They're not going to, where's the load at, sort of a deal. It's just kind of, you come into work, do your pre-trip, you do your loads, you go home. That's pretty much it. Pretty much at all of these places, it's going to be very much of that. It's very much hands off, especially if you're load pay. It's no skin off their back if you take, 10 hours to do an 8-hour run, because that's just money out of your pocket. So now if you drag your feet at Love's or Pilot and you're milking the clock, they're going to have a problem with that, and you're going to get a talking to, if not fired, if you keep it up. So don't do that. But anywhere else, yeah, it's pretty much hands off. It's not, I guess the third party companies that I've seen, from the guys that I've talked to, it's kind of a mix. It depends on the company, whether they like it or not. Most of them that I've talked to, they seem to like the companies that they work for. In fact, I ran into, when I was at Pilot, I ran into the third party guys constantly, because Pilot was so busy that they would constantly have third party carriers come in there and deliver to the Pilot stores. And it was actually kind of frustrating. Like, hey, what's up, Eric? Yeah, Eric's my coworker. Eric, if you think you would have been frustrated here with all the third party guys, you should have seen how it was at Pilot, because it was terrible. It was always like, man, they're always stealing our loads. But anyways, or we're always constantly waiting on them or whatnot to get done. And they would drag their feet because they don't really care. They're paid. Usually most of those guys are paid hourly. Sometimes they're load pay, but at least most of the third party companies around here, certainly down in Denver too, are hourly as well. So, yeah. Oh, I was at home. That's where I was last night. Oh, hell no. I'm not. Hey, it's what time is it now? It is 4:40. And I have not gotten a call yet. So looks like I am not working a 6-day once again. Woo! For now, but anyways, yeah. So third party companies, you kind of just do your research. So let's see. Who did I vote for? I voted for Pedro. Shout out to Napoleon Dynamite. But let's see here. Yeah, it's going to be pretty much the same. Just do your research. Indeed reviews, Glassdoor reviews will have a lot of information on certain companies. Also, talk to the drivers whenever you're at the rack. Whenever you're at the rack, just talk to the drivers of these different companies, or if you happen to see them. Again, most fuel haulers in general don't really care if you talk to us. Like, obviously there's going to be some curmudgeons out there that don't want to talk, but most of us, if you say, hey, do you have a minute? I'm curious how you like working for your company. Most of us don't care. We'll spend a couple minutes with you talking about our company that we're working for, and we'll give you the honest answer. Don't take, the first person's word for it as gospel. Obviously talk to more people, but at least you can have it as kind of like a reference of, okay, well, this person said that. And if you get a common trend of like, okay, well, I've talked to 3 different people and the Indeed reviews of the company were terrible. So I should probably stay away from that company. That's one thing. But if it's just one bad apple that was like, oh no, don't work here. It's terrible to work here. You're going to hate your life. You're going to dread coming into work every single day. Take it for what it's worth. But yeah, so just do your research. There's a lot of decent third-party carriers out there. Certainly that will give you a shot to start out with, because I started at a third-party carrier too. So let's see here. Make sure I didn't miss any questions. Time creator. Is deaf hard to get into? Never seen Loves or pilot hiring for deaf. I think because somebody else had mentioned Gemini has a deaf position right now in Augusta, Georgia, or something like that. I think it was Augusta. And they do pop up occasionally. I don't think so. You only need your tanker endorsement. You don't need your hazmat. It's just tanker endorsement, obviously Class A CDL, and I think your TWIC card. You might need your TWIC card. Depends on the area. Because I know for around here, a lot of the deaf guys, they need their TWIC card. So I don't have my TWIC card because none of the loading racks around here require it for fuel hauling. But I know like for deaf or diesel exhaust fluid around here, you need your TWIC card, which that's not hard to get. Most companies will reimburse that if you end up getting your TWIC card anyways. So not a big deal. But I think it's probably easier to get into, although you have more competition because they don't require a hazmat. But I don't know because I haven't ever applied for a deaf position, so I couldn't say 100% one way or the other. So let's see here. Let me make a call. Don't you dare. Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. No, sir. No, sir. Oh man, I'd be so pissed. I will block you from the channel if that happens, Eric. I will block you. You will never comment ever again on this channel if I get called into work. But anyways, yeah, so let's see here. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah, coward answer. Funny. But funny reference, yeah. Yeah, that was a good, man, I haven't seen that movie in a long time, but it was a good movie. Anyways, yeah, so getting back to the original topic here. Yeah, no, you just have to do the math yourself and figure out, obviously what you need to retire, what you need to be actually, what is your number to be able to figure out, or what is the number that you need to figure out to where once you hit that number in retirement accounts, whether it's your 401k, brokerage, whatever, it doesn't matter, you can, say peace out and never have to come back to work again, or at least not have to come back to work again. Because it's one thing if you are still working and you want to work, but you could retire at any moment. But it's what I'm aiming for is to have that freedom of being able to say, no, I'm just going to pop smoke and get out of here. So do that math, do that research, figure out what your number is, and then figure it out. Because again, I'm not saying there's a right or wrong answer here. As far as like the specific numbers for me, it just kind of worked out to where if I was only going to work 40 hours a week and get that time up front where I didn't have to work as much, then I would still have to work till I was 60, 65. So I would rather not, personally. I would rather not work until I'm 65. I would rather have the freedom to walk away sooner rather than later, especially because the benefit of retiring early is you still have your health with you. You still have your youth with you. I would rather start doing stuff and start, traveling and all that jazz, being able to go do a bunch of stuff that I can still do physically while I'm at age 50 or 55 rather than 65. So, but again, if you'd rather pace yourself and have that time up front, there's nothing wrong with that. There's no wrong answer here. It's just a matter of figuring out what works for you, setting a plan, and, making goals or striving towards that that goal, and keeping with the plan. So let's see here. Time creator, did you start a Roth for your kids? Will you? I will start. Yeah, because they're 7 and 6 right now. My son's almost 8. So basically about 8 or 9 years from now, I'll probably start talking finances with, it's going to be earlier than that. I'm going to show them kind of a very limited view of our budget, probably when they're like 12, 14, something like that. But as far as a Roth, I will talk to them about setting that up. And I'll probably give them like, you know, maybe $1,000 to start with or something like that. Although filing my taxes this year, it asked if I had any new kids because of the Trump Roth or the Trump account thing, which I don't have any more new kids. So doesn't apply to me. But it'll be interesting to see what happens with those Trump accounts over time. Hopefully that money actually stays in that account. I have a feeling most people are just going to try and withdraw it off the bat just because, you know, it's money. But after all the penalties and all that, you're not going to see much of that $1,000. So it's kind of a waste anyways. But yeah, I'll probably start a Roth for them here in the next, or at least you know, get the ball rolling for them in the next 10 years or so, something like that. But good question. Let's see. To each their own, but you have a purpose in life. Otherwise, you end up as an article in the newspaper. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, especially like the guys who just truck until they die. Like they have to get pulled out of the cab at a certain point. It's just like, that's just so sad. That is I mean, regardless of if I retire at 55 or even if I have to push it to 60, like that is not going to be me. I'm not going to, I think we've all run into the people who are coming in to work, you know, after 65, even 70. There's even some 80-year-olds I've met that are still working, and it's because they have to. And it's just like, not going to be me. So yeah, that's one thing. Don't be that guy too. I mean, it's one thing I guess if it's different if you love it and you're just doing it because you love it and you want to do it until you die. But doing it because you have to, that is a terrible place to be in. So I definitely wouldn't recommend that to anybody. So, you know, you have enough time if you just, I mean, it's not even too late for 50-year-olds too, 50, 60-year-olds, if they just can get their budget under control, spend less than they make, and put a little, if they just need, you know, 10 years to sock away some money, they could still retire. But it just takes some discipline. And unfortunately, I think most people just don't have that discipline to actually set money aside for retirement, which is unfortunate, but you know, you can't force anybody to save money. It's up to them. So let's see here. Educate 6, figure out retirement benefits. Yep. Let's see. Yeah, I can't see. Educrat. Yeah, I'm not sure what you're saying there, Bathy. But yeah. Anyways, that is pretty much it. I was just curious on what your guys' thoughts were, you know, if you guys are going to retire, if you guys were planning on trying to retire early like I am, or if you're going to just kind of coast, you know, 40, 50 hours a week and just kind of retire at 60, 65 and just kind of go from there. So again, no wrong answer. So I was just curious, but wanted to give my thoughts on that. But I should probably get out of here, you know, before Eric calls our regional manager on me and gets me to come into work with him because, you know, Eric, I can't come into work with you tonight because I don't want to steal any of your loads, you know? So unfortunately, that's the reason. That's the reason why. I don't want to take any work away from you, you know? It's all you tonight. It's your Friday, man. Come on. It's your Friday. So anyways, yeah, hope you guys are doing, oh, what's up? Let's see. For sure, set yourself up to work because you want to, but becoming couch potato is just as bad as working to death. Your purpose may be sightseeing or making your property great. Yep. Very true. Very true. Yeah. Don't stay in shape too, guys, because it does not matter if you earn all the money in the world. If you end up dying of a heart attack the day after you retire, there was no point. You just kind of wasted it. So, you know, get in shape. Just, you don't even have to work out. Just watch your diet. Just cut all the crap out of your diet. And that's about 80% of it, quite honestly. If you really don't want to work out, fine. But at least cut the crap out of your diet. Eat whole foods. And you can do that within a budget because I do it. I know that for a fact. So, anyways, that's about it. I should probably go pick up my son from karate and get out of here and let Eric get to work. So anyways, I will see you guys on the next one. Take care. God bless.